Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Hugo, and today we're going to see what was the performance of my portfolio in the past week. Guys, if you want to copy me now, it could be one of the best opportunities for you to get your copy, to start your copy. I do have, and this was actually someone that brought to my mind. I'm not quite good to sell myself, but this was actually one of my followers that's mentioned that he did have a profitability in the past year of around 83.13%, and I did compare this with other popular investors, and the average is going to be around 40%, 50%, no more than that. So I do think this is a really good indicator that is going to be good for you if you start your copy. In terms of the portfolio performance, we did see here the US market with an increase of 0.4% and my portfolio around 0.96%. We did see here an increase of the Chinese market that went up, and therefore my stock was a bit affected because of that, because on my entire portfolio, 5% of my portfolio is exposed to the Chinese market, where you can see more towards the end of the video. So from the past week, we had the increase of almost 1% from 5.79 to 6.79. In the past 12 months return, we have an increase of 6.53%. I do think this calculation is not quite correct. This is values that I bring from eToro. And in the last 12 months profitability, this is a new indicator that I'm including, is 83.13%. And this also got affected because I sold ABVV with 100% of profitability. In terms of the top winners and the top losers, we did have here the top winners MG, of course, as I mentioned before, with a 3.52%. The market went up quite a lot in the past week, but there's still a lot of to grow. ET, energy transfer, with increase of gas and electricity, they also had an increase of 2.86% because of that. The XDIV, the ETF, had an increase of 2.5%. MPW, Medical Properties Trust, which is one of the REITs that I have on my portfolio, they have an increase of 1.89%. LTC with an increase of 1.87%. In terms of Intel, was affected still with 2.93%, but although I do think Intel has a lot of potential to grow in the next upcoming weeks, as soon as the graphic cards come out to the market, especially the desktop graphic cards, and they didn't publish the entire lineup from the 3 to 5 and 7 lineup. They're only selling the ARC 3 lineup and for mobile only. So I'm expecting in the next upcoming months or year we may see here an increase on Intel. So I'm still hanging on Intel. It's one of my worst performance stocks, as well as Alibaba. But this is one of the stocks that I'm going to hold until the end of the year, and for tax purposes I may sell this with the loss, depending on the profitability that I'm going to have, and if I'm going to pay a lot of tax due to the profit that I got so far. Anyway, it's something that I'm going to do analysis more towards the end of this year. Bitcoin went down and pushed ADA down a little bit more as well, but we do have good projections for the next upcoming week, which is going to be good, and we may see an increase of the Bitcoin for the 54 to 55,000. And we have here one of the ETFs, which is a PFF, with a decrease of 0.6%. In terms of other performance indicators, we did have the payments of Main Street Capital, British Petroleum, BP.L, and AMZA. We didn't have new acquisitions. We didn't open any orders. We did close ABVV with 100% profitability. I didn't sold all positions. I only sold a partial position with I had 100% of profitability, and I managed to sell, and they went down afterwards. So I think was a good opportunity to sell that. In terms of averaging, we have none. In terms of the top dividends, we have SDIV is still my biggest payer, and in terms of the dividend yields, the highest, and in terms of the highest dividend yield, we have ARR with 14.29%, and they went up a little bit because the stock went down as well. The portfolio is still undervaluing 55.2%. So we had here 0.2% increase from the last week, and the future growth we had here increased from 9% from last week to 11.8% for this week. In terms of the past performance, we still have the 7.48% from the last week. In terms of portfolio diversification, we didn't have any from the past week. We may see here an increase of the balance, but it's almost unnoticed based on the entire portfolio. The stock that I sold in terms of BVV wasn't enough to affect the entire overall. So everything maintained the same from the previous week. Okay, guys, I hope you enjoyed the updates of this week portfolio. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the like. That will help me with the YouTube algorithm. And also, if you want to follow, just write and select to add me to your watch list. Once again, thank you, cheers, and see you next week.